Hello, everybody joining me. Told you guys I was gonna sew today. Very excited. We're gonna sew something fun today. Um, we're working on a little project that started a ways back and poking at it now and then. Oh, I've got camera set weird. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm just like a figment of my own imagination in the corner of the video. Um, we're calling today day 10 of our Aster and Anne project Sewalong. And I'm also calling it final day and assembly day. So over 10 videos, we've worked through a Wonderful project bag, which comes as like pre-made felt pieces with the zipper already installed, and added all sorts of embellishments and trims. There's some hand embroidery, there's some machine felting, there's applique, there's couching, there's chain stitch, there's cover stitch, there's decorative stitches, there's twin needle work, there's some hand embroidery. So we're just about out of space, and it's time to sew this thing together. Oh, and there's a yo-yo on there too. So just about everything. So we're ready to assemble today. That's where we're going. The first things first, the pocket will need to go on. I have take this over to the machine, and I could straight stitch this on, or I could do something different. We'll go poke and find a stitch. So close up at the machine there, ready to thread. Just move the machine ever so slightly so I can put my knee lift back in. Hold that up there. There we go. Now I'm ready to sew. So on board this machine, I could do just about any stitch for holding my pocket in place on the outside of the bag. I think I'm just going to do a triple stitch, so it'll be nice and chunky and easy enough to navigate around the corners on my bag. I've got a 1C foot on, and on Bernina, the triple stitch on this machine is the number 6, and I've got orange thread and pink bobbin thread, and that will be okay. If I was really worried about placement on this bag, I could pin it in place, but it's going to be really gnarly to pin through. So instead, I'm just going to hold it and start up at the top of the pocket, and I'm going to use the inside edge of the presser foot as my guiding line here. Stitching about a 1/16 of an inch away from the edge. When we get down into the corners, we're going to need to pivot just a little bit. And with a triple stitch, you want to pivot after it's taken those 3 stitches. So forward, backward, forward. About three pivots around the corner got me there. So you don't want to pivot partway through that stitching. Guys, a little bit closer. I'm ready to pivot around this corner as well. So that 1, 2, 3 is the base of this stitch. 2, 3, 3. Knotting feature there. And there my pocket is attached. Pretty quick and painless. The other advantage to stitching that pocket on is it helps secure all of those other thread tails that I made doing the decorative stitch work. So that wasn't the super exciting part of today's video. The super exciting part of today's video is step 2. When I first started this project, Chelsea requested pom-poms. And we have some carded ribbons and trims that are color coordinated. There's a link below in the video for these. And there's yellow pom-poms. There wasn't orange that were quite the right color. And there was light pink, but I didn't, well, the light pink was kind of like that color, but that's okay. So Chelsea's request was that we stitch pom-poms in to the side of the bag when we go to close it. So we're going to insert those in the edge there and stitch all the way around. To make sure that these stay in, they're on quite a narrow little ribbon. So I'm going to use a zipper foot to baste these in place so they don't move around on me. That will be a whole lot easier. Just going to rethread the machine with a color that will blend better into my bag. Baste these in, and then we'll go around and do a decorative. Well, we'll stitch them in the rest of the way. I didn't even think to check what color bobbin thread I have in. Apparently I have a rainbow variegated bobbin thread, so we're going to change that to not rainbow variegated. I was quilting with that last week, which is okay. Not quite what I need, but that's fine. It's on the inside of the bag. It's my own little secret surprise for anybody looking inside. Orange thread. You might need one more empty bobbin. Might be the answer to all of life's little questions right now. Moments away from an empty bobbin. Well, I'm making myself an empty bobbin, and you guys are looking at fabulous things in behind me. There is fabric in behind me with some very pretty panels. It's called Eufloria. We have shown it off before, but it's springy and cheerful, so it's here to hang out with us today. And the panel that is back behind me would make great pillows if you're looking for kind of bright pillows to cheer up your living space this spring. That would be my thought. We're going to get rid of the brown thread. The solution to most bobbin problems is to get more bobbins. I have enough bobbins in the studio, just not enough colors every day. white thread. Onto this one. You don't need very much. So on some machines, specifically this Bernina 880 and some other machines, you're able to set how much thread you want to put on your bobbin. So I just set this one to 25% because I don't always need to fill all my bobbins all the way in here. Sometimes that's too much thread. I'll go gray and gray, which will be a whole lot more blendy and easier to hide my gray stitches from the pom-poms when I go close the bag off. That will make me a whole bunch happier. Some people would probably suggest that you trim your pom-poms to the length you need before you get started. I'm a rebel. I'm going to leave them attached to their length and just trim off what I don't need at the end. For sewing the pom-poms, I'm going to use a zipper foot. The pom-pom trim is quite bulky on the side, and I need to be able to stitch just down through that skinny part at the edge, and I want to be able to get fairly close into that. So if I tell the machine that I've got a zipper foot, I'm going to use the 4D, which is the Bernina dual feed zipper foot. And then I can move my needle over if I have the right stitch plate installed. Move the needle way over if you tell the machine you have the appropriate stitch plate. I think I'll start on this side here. So I'm going to install the trim on the bag first. And we're going to move the needle over to the other side because until I'm looking at these things and have fabric in hand, it's hard to know which way to move everything over. Skinny little stitch with my zipper foot. I'm just going to go back to my straight stitch and bring you guys in a little closer once more. Just adjust that a little bit. Don't like quite where it was hanging. It's too close to the edge. Falling apart like nobody's business. We're going to reevaluate how we're attaching this. And we're going to flip it over and do it from the other side. I can't see the edge of the bag while I'm stitching. Okay, new game plan. Stitch this from the pom-pom, from the felt side. Working. Add some glue. Not that. Solution to all. If it's not holding, glue it in place. It's just so little. This is Sewalong glue pen. Getting this on exactly where we want it. It's not going my way today. It's okay. Attempt not to fall off here. Just switch feet and see if I have. I don't think these pom-poms are going to like going under a regular foot. I don't think they're going to like that at all. are very little pom-poms. Maybe they'll be okay. So just switch to my regular foot because the pom-poms and the heavier felt were slipping on each other. Stitch right at the join of the two of them. Switch things up. The zipper foot didn't have quite enough traction on all the pieces that needed to be stitched. Obviously, with a bigger, wider pom-pom, usually the ribbon trim is also chunkier. Easier to stitch into. Baby pom-poms have the skinniest little trim. They're also the softest to put underneath your foot. Is a quiet sewing machine. Ooh, just a couple stitches there. I exploded a pom-pom in the corner. Thread cleanup. That worked way better. And now, because this bag is nearly complete, we're just gonna sew it together. A whole bunch of other loose ends are tucked away. We're gonna nestle the front and the back of the bag between those pom-poms, or over those pom-poms. And I think I'm gonna go back to the triple stitch. To hold the bag together. Just inward from the edge, just a little bit. So if you're sewing pom-poms on for the first time, a couple comments out online there. The bigger, wider pom-poms have that wider ribbon. They'll be much easier to sew on than the skinny little ones. The skinny little ones, you've just got about 1/8 of an inch of pom-pom trim to attach. Once you get it in there, it's awesome. Other fabrics you'd be able to pin through when you're installing your pom-poms. This one, the heavy felt, doesn't pin very well. So that makes it just a little bit more challenging. But just like that, after many, many videos, thank you guys for playing along and your patience, we have an Aster zip project bag with, 9 techniques on it. I'm sure you could add more if you found more you wanted to do. Little pocket on the front. We didn't even have to install a zipper because it was already built in. And then, I don't know, what are you going to keep in there? Maybe your glue stick? Maybe your hand sewing thread? It's a nice little size. So thank you for joining me on this rather long tour. It was really fun to make it. And I have favorite techniques in here. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but there's some that I'm like, oh, I totally want to do that on another bag. This will be out on display, so you'll have a chance. If you're nearby and in store, you can come see it and pick up your own Aster project kit and experiment, play with all the fun threads you have and the funky things your machines can do. When you get tired of doing that funky machine stuff, it hand embroiders gorgeously. I will flip the camera back there. I started a butterfly and then Barbary did my butterfly because she's much better at hand embroidery. And it's adorable. So thank you guys for playing along. This will be hanging out in the store if you want to come see it and pick up your own kit. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys another... Oh, I can switch back to that camera. Thank you guys. We'll see you another day.